Quarantine, Day 30.
Well, welcome everyone to another Willie's Ramblins and Pickup video. No pickups, and Willie is smooth. He's shaved. I'm becoming John Lester, Gamester 81. Love you, John. You're awesome. Anyway, don't have any pickups because I've not been anywhere. I've been in quarantine for the past 30 days, not really gone anywhere at all. Still working. Keeping really busy because, there's a lot of people out there that need my help in the industry I'm in. So that's a good thing. Keeps me busy, keeps my mind chugging away, all that good stuff. Why did I shave my head? I know someone's going to ask, why did you shave your head? Well, my hair was getting kind of long, and I was getting tired of being sweaty and hot. So I said, I talked to my wife and said, just shave my head. She was like, what? Yeah, just shave my head. She goes, you've never, ever shaved your head. It's like, I know, but it's driving me crazy to shave my head. So she shaved my head. She had a real good time shaving my head. She thought, she was laughing. It was funny. But anyway, since I don't have any pickups to talk about, I figure I would talk about, let's talk about the Amico. I've never really talked about the Amico on my channel. I don't do a lot of interviews anymore and things like that, mainly because of time. I would like to do an interview with Tommy Tallarico, but I feel the interviews have been done to death. There's a lot of great ones out there. Vera After Dark has done it's like 3 hours long. It was actually a really cool interview that she did. Rich over at ViewTech did one. My buddy Chris, the Atari Creep, he did an interview with Tommy, which was really fun to watch. So I figured, I'm not going to waste Tommy's time because it feels like he's just going to keep repeating information over and over again. And a lot of these channels are a lot bigger than mine, so a lot of people have already seen all this. So, oh well. I'm lazy. Anyway, the Amico. I got in on the Founders Edition. I got one of the very last 2600 that was available. I just got off the airplane. As soon as the plane landed, I was on my cell phone trying to get in on it, and actually got one right before they sold out. So I'm pretty stoked that I got a Founders Edition, the wood grain one. That has a bunch of extra stuff, so I'm pretty happy about that. But it's like, why did I want to get an Intellivision Amico? Well, a lot of times I'm not a fanboy per se. For any particular console. I do have consoles I favor over others. For example, probably the one I like the most in my collection is my Sega Dreamcast. It's not because of the console itself or the company that made it. It's just because it has quite a few games on it that I really enjoy playing. It's got a lot of great games on that system. It was ahead of its time. I wish it could have survived. But things happen. But anyway, I saw that the Intellivision Amico... Oh, back to why did I want to get an Intellivision Amico? I'm kind of going off subject here. Well, I saw some of the games that was being displayed for it and some of the talk about it and how it's going to work. Their philosophy of the games they want to put out. Basically, it's going to be games that are easy to play, easy to pick up, family-oriented games, like the Nintendo Wii was when it came out. And I thought that was a great concept because, one of the things that drives me nuts in modern gaming right now is unskippable cutscenes and little mini-movies you have to watch before you even play the game. I'm looking at you, Ubisoft. But anyway, I'll get a new game for my PS4 or whatever, and I'm all excited about playing it. I'll fire it up. And it has a little movie that comes on that gives you the backstory and stuff like that. I'm hitting buttons like crazy trying to skip. Nope, can't skip. You're forced to sit there and watch a movie. Sometimes it'll be like 10 minutes long. I just want to sit down, fire it up, play a game, and get right into it. I don't want to watch a movie. I want to watch a movie, I'll pop in a DVD or something. Or you get to a cutscene that you're forced to watch. Takes you right out of the game. I hate that. Hate it with a passion. That's why I like the casual gaming. I do a lot of gaming on my iPad. I know I could do a lot of gaming on my iPhone, but I don't like to game on my phone. But the Intellivision Amico has a lot of these games come out that really interest me, like the remake of the Night Stalker game. I like Night Stalker on the Intellivision, and the one on the Amico looks like it's going to be really cool. And they're making some other games for the Amico that's really got my interest. Now, they're simple games, but that's part of the appeal. You got to remember, back in the 2600, they had to focus on gameplay and not flashy graphics. So it kind of reminds me of that. They're trying to get back into focusing on what's fun, what makes a good game, not just the flashy graphics, but the core gameplay. I think if they get some games for the system that are really fun, I think they're going to do really well. But I did notice that, they're coming with all these different exclusive colors and stuff like that, which I really like. And the latest one that my bud the Atari Creep just talked about is the Galaxy Purple one from GameStop. Now, my wife's favorite color is purple, and she saw that. She's like, ooh. I was like, no, I've already got a wood grain one coming. We're not going to get a purple one too, just because it's a different color. But anyway, I think it's kind of cool. They got these different colors and stuff like that. So I'm really looking forward to the Amico coming out in October. I'm keeping my fingers crossed that the current pandemic doesn't affect that schedule. It may. Don't know. And I'm keeping my fingers crossed because I'm really looking forward to having that to play during the holiday season. And I'm really hoping you're able to hook it to the internet and live stream off of it. That would be kind of cool to live stream Amico games, I think. Especially if you get multiple people playing at once in your house. I think it would be a blast. But anyway, what am I going to talk about since I have no pickups? Well, I was thinking, I had this really great idea for a video segment that when I asked my fellow YouTubers out there, maybe they make a video like this as well, as in response to this one. I was thinking about what particular game influenced me to buy a console. Now, there's a few of these on my list that I didn't buy. They were like gifts to me, or they were hand-me-downs, things like that. But in general, what particular game influenced you to buy a particular game console is what the topic is. So we're going to start off with my ever favorite, the Fairchild Channel F. Now, I love the Channel F. I don't have my original anymore. I got a System 2 back there on the shelf. My original, unfortunately, was lost by the movers when I moved 20 years ago. I lost a lot of my classic video game stuff I had from my childhood when I relocated for my job, unfortunately. I imagine it ended up somewhere in a flea market or a pawn shop or something. But oh well. But the Channel F. Now, I didn't buy the Channel F. It was given to me by my dad. I guess you could kind of say I bought it because I did a lot of extra chores in order to get the crazy thing. So instead of getting allowance money, he gave me the console. So I guess I did buy it in a way. But anyway, enough of that. One of the games I love playing on that system, and I still like playing today, is Pinball Wizard. Now, it's not pinball, it's Breakout. I don't know why they call it Pinball Wizard. And they put like little bumpers and stuff on the box to make you think it's a pinball game. No, it's Breakout. I used to play that game for hours on end. Love that game. I think one of the things I like about Breakout on the Channel F is how I get the ball on top and it goes ding, 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 and it gets behind the score and the score is trying to keep up. I get a kick out of that. I'm a very simple Willie. Give me a break. Anyway, that was one of the games I love to play on the Channel F. The Atari 2600, that was a Christmas gift. And the main reason why I wanted one of those was, of course, for adventure. Now, I loved D&D games back then, and this was like having a electronic D&D game to play on your TV. Loved that game. Loved it when we finally found the Easter egg. I think I read about the Easter egg in Electronic Games or something like that, and that prompted me to go see if I could find it for myself, which, added a whole another element to that game when you had, well, I've played the main game and I've beat it, but now all of a sudden I find out there's a hidden message. You got to find this little magic dot. That just added a lot more to the game to go find the secret message. So got some real good play value out of that. Now next, the Atari 7800. Now the Atari 7800, I picked up not too long ago. I bought it from my buddy Josh, complete in the box. And the main reason why I wanted that was for the port of Donkey Kong on it. It's actually a really good conversion of Donkey Kong to the 7800. It's a lot of fun to play. Let's see, moving on. Oh, the Atari 5200. Now, the 5200 I picked up a few years back. I didn't have one when it came out back in the day. I had an Atari 800 XL computer. My dad had the older Atari 800. Did a lot of stuff with that. Some of the games that are on the 5200 I already have on my 8-bit. But the big game that I wanted to buy the 5200 for was Star Raiders. I love the 5200 version of Star Raiders. It's great on the 800 XL, the 8-bit computer line, but I really like it on the 5200, maybe because you've got your controls all on the controller, not looking down at the keypad. I'm on the keyboard. And the controls, even though it's an analog stick, it plays really nice. So it's a really good version of Star Raiders to play. The Atari Jaguar. Now, y'all should know what game influenced the purchase of one of those. Yes, Tempest 2000. Oh yeah, I love Tempest in the arcade. And I really love Tempest 2000 on the Atari Jaguar. I first played that game at a demo kiosk at a Toys R Us when the Atari Jaguar was out. And I absolutely fell in love with that game. I didn't get a Jaguar until sometime in the 2010s, somewhere in there. I don't know why I waited so long to buy one, but I didn't pick one up until just a few years ago. And I actually made myself a custom little rotary controller for it so I can play it with a spinner, the proper way to play Tempest. I've got a video about that on my channel somewhere where I made my little spinner controller. Next up, the ColecoVision. Now, why did I get a ColecoVision? Didn't have one back in the day. I knew of it. Played it at Montgomery Ward's at the demo kiosk. Loved the game. Loved the game system, especially the pack-in Donkey Kong, which was a home run for Coleco at the time to do that. But I picked up a ColecoVision a few years back mainly because of Pepper 2. I love Pepper 2 in the arcades, and the version of it on the ColecoVision is actually really well done. It's a really fun game. Highly recommend it if you've not played that game before. Give it a try on the ColecoVision or in MAME on the actual arcade machine. It's a very challenging Pac-Man-esque type game. A lot of fun to play. Of course, the Intellivision. Now, the Intellivision I picked up, I think in 2011, I think I picked up my first Intellivision. And that was mainly because of Tron Deadly Discs. I played that game a lot at Service Merchandise on the demo kiosk. I actually wanted to get a television back then, but I never did get one. And over the years, I had chances of buying a television, but I never did until I got into doing, retro video game collecting. I got the retro video game collecting bug probably in the late 90s, and I started picking up, games here and there, stuff like that. But I didn't get really serious about it until after 2009, after YouTube came out. Then I really got into it because I started seeing videos of all these different games from other people, and I was like, oh, wow, that's pretty cool. I'm going to buy that console and check it out for myself. Anyway, next one up, the Bally Astrocade. Now, this was a system my dad originally bought. That was a hand-me-down to me. And this was the system that I used to program games on. This was before I had the Atari 8-bit. We had an 800 computer at the time. And I wasn't really messing with it too much because that was my dad's computer. But he picked this thing up mainly for me to mess around with. I started programming games on it and everything. And one of the games I really liked on that, of course, was The Incredible Wizard, which is Wizard of War, but on the Bally Astrocade. It's a fun game to play on the Bally Astrocade. It's got some great sound effects in it as well. Really great game. Of course, next up, the Magnavox Odyssey 2. I played the Odyssey 2 for the first time at a Service Merchandise at a demo kiosk, and it was Cosmic Conflict. Very simple outer space game, but it totally captivated me. I wanted an Odyssey 2 so bad, but at the time I had an Atari 2600, and my parents weren't going to buy me another game system when I had that. So I picked up the Odyssey 2 a few years ago, and one of the first games I picked up was Cosmic Conflict. I love that game. Followed by Casey Munchkin, of course. Of course, you get that voice module. It adds a whole new element to the games we get to that voice module. Next up, the Nintendo, the NES. This one's obvious. Super Mario Brothers. That's why I picked it up. Love Super Mario Brothers on the NES. I had a buddy that bought an NES at the place I was working at the time. Went over to their house, gave it a try, fell in love with Super Mario Brothers. So I went out and bought a system for myself just because of that. That's because of that game. It's a great game. The Sega Genesis. Now I bought my Sega Genesis on launch day. This is the one that came with Ultra Beast. My wife and I played Ultra Beast a lot in the arcade before we got married. And when we saw this was coming to a home console, we had to get the system. We played Ultra Beast way into the wee hours of the morning when we first got that console. Such a fun arcade game, and actually really good translation to the Sega Genesis as well. Let's see what... Oh! The TurboGrafx 16. Now, what game do you think influenced me to pick up a actual TurboGrafx 16? Galaga 90. Oh, yeah. I love Galaga, or Galaga, or however you want to say that frickin' G word. Really like that game, and I love Galaga 90 on the TurboGrafx. Such a fun game. The Nintendo 64. Now, you would think maybe it was the Super Mario game that came with, Super Mario 64. No, it wasn't that. That wasn't the game that got me convinced to buy a Nintendo 64. It was Star Wars Shadows of the Empire. When I saw that game was available for the Nintendo 64, bam, I went out and bought a console. It was hard to find at the time because it was the most popular Christmas present of that year. But I actually found the Nintendo 64 and I picked up Shadows of the Empire. Still have it in my collection. I got a box copy over there still. Great game. I love any King Star Wars. I love. Shadows of the Empire is actually a really fun game on the Nintendo 64. Of course, now we get to the Sega Dreamcast. The game that influenced me to buy a Sega Dreamcast was seeing Soul Calibur was going to be made available for it. My wife and I play a lot of Soul Calibur in the arcade. We actually use Soul Calibur to settle disputes every once in a while. So we get really angry with each other. We'll fire up the Dreamcast. We'll take it out playing Soul Calibur. That's a lot of fun to play in the game. Let's see. What else we got here? The PS1. The game that influenced me to buy the PS1, you would think it would be the Tempest X3 game. That would be a good guess. I love that game on the PS1, but it was actually the Colony Wars series that got me interested in actually obtaining a PS1. I love outer space action games, and the Colony Wars series on the PS1 is absolutely phenomenal. It's a really fun game to play. You got variable weapons you have, different ships. And it spans across 3 discs. You have the Colony Wars, you got Colony Wars, Red Sun. Yeah, I can't remember the name of the other one. Mine went blank. I wish they would actually redo that series on the modern Sony. Maybe for the PS5, come out with another Colony Wars game with all the modern hardware and the graphics and stuff like that. Wow, I think that'd be a really fun game to have. The GameCube. Now, this is an easy one. It was a launch title. Rogue Squadron, of course. Another Star Wars game, and it looked phenomenal. I watched videos on this before it came out, and I was determined to get a GameCube. I bought my GameCube. What town was I in? I was traveling down to visit my wife's grandparents down in Florida, and I don't think it was in Ocala. It was a town north. I can't remember. It was a town north of Ocala, Florida. A big town we went through. I can't remember the name of it was. But I stopped at a Target and they had a GameCube there. So I picked it up, and I picked up Rogue Squadron. Such a great vacation that year. Next up was, of course, the PS2. Now, what game did I want to play on the PS2 to maybe pick one up? Mercenaries. I love Mercenaries. It gets its title, Playground of Destruction. Yes, it is. You can blow up buildings, all kinds of stuff. It's a really fun game. I can't say enough about Mercenaries. I still go back to every once in a while and play it on my PS3 or my big screen TV on my backwards compatible PS3. Of course, here's a very obscure, it's not a console, it's actually a DVD player. The Nuon system. It's not a game console, it's a DVD player that can play games. And the whole reason why I wanted one of those was for Tempest 3000. Yeah, that's the only reason why I've got one of those, is to play Tempest 3000. I think I want to end this with the original Xbox. Now, the game that got me motivated to buy the original Xbox was Mech Assault. I like robots. I like robot fighting games. I was a big fan of the Mech Warrior series I used to play on my PC. And then I saw Mech Assault come out for the Xbox. Went down to the local game store, was able to play a demo of it. I thought it was actually absolutely incredible. So I had to buy an Xbox in order to play Mech Assault. I really wish that they would revive that series again. That's the one game that would get me to buy an Xbox One right now. If they were to release Mech Assault for the Xbox One, I'd be out and buy one immediately. I'm mainly about games, not about consoles. So that's what gets me to buy something, is there a particular game I want to play. I do have an Xbox 360. Oblivion is what promoted me to buy that one, the Xbox 360. My wife plays the living daylights out of Oblivion and Skyrim. But anyway, that's just a few of the consoles that I've picked up just for a particular game that really interests me. Maybe I'll do this again on handhelds, why I picked up particular handhelds. It might be another little video I can do. But anyway, that's it for this video. I know I went off topic quite a bit. I rambled a lot. But I thought it'd be something fun to do while we're all in quarantine. A lot of us are still in quarantine. So until next time, everyone, keep on gaming and stay safe.